Good evening, dear students. Today we have three important news items to discuss that have gained significance in the media. Those are, number one, the anniversary of victory of India over Pakistan in the 1971 war, and Congress is planning to launch a campaign, a celebration campaign. And the other one is about the pandemic in its wake has brought a lot of suffering to humanity. In particular, it made many children homeless and orphan. And that is one important news. And the third one is about the yoga. Today happens to be International Yoga Day. And I'm sure all of you must be trying some of those exercises or understanding the importance of that. So we will discuss these three of them in our order. And also, we try to find out why they are important, why they are important in the news, and what is its significance, and what you should know from the examination point of view. So we move to the first one. Okay. Well, the news is that Congress is planning to organize a district-level program to kick off the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the 1970 war. As you know, the Golden Jubilee means 50 years, and liberation war of Bangladesh from mid-July. So, actually, the 13-day war was concluded and ceasefire was brought, and Indo-Shimla agreement was made to establish peace in the region, and that happened to culminate in July 2nd. Therefore, Congress is trying to plan to organize district-level programs for the Golden Jubilee celebrations. Apparently, they think that they were in the government at the time, and this has happened during their time, and they perhaps want to launch as a rally to commemorate that victory of India over Pakistan in the 1971 war that was fought between India and Pakistan. It was not a direct fight. Actually, we got dragged into this. We were not the aggressors. We were dragged into this because of the certain historical triggering factors. Let's go into those details. So let's look at the location of the Bangladesh. If you see, this is Pakistan and this is Bangladesh, right? So they were having mostly this population is sort of minority. Most of them are speaking Bengali, and they were also from Bengal. They were Bengalis mostly there, and Pakistan was ruling this territory of so-called East Pakistan at that point in time, and they were trying to dominate this region and have total control over this region. But there were certain insurgencies, there were certain rebellions, and then certain freedom movement has arisen from the East Pakistan, then East Pakistan, presently now called as Bangladesh. So the war was fought under the leadership of Prime Minister, and also under the leadership of Chief of Army Staff Sam Manekshaw, a very famous general, a legendary figure, recently passed away, and known for his excellent strategy and warfare skills. And in fact, he can be credited with the Indo-Pak war victory, that is India's victory over the Pak. So this is the Sam Manekshaw. And what actually happened? On March 25th, 1971, Pakistan, in order to curb the rebellion in the then East Pakistan, presently Bangladesh, it has launched Operation Searchlight, and to control that, because, and also there were massive human rights violations were reportedly perpetrated by the Pakistan. So the Pakistan was suppressing the human rights, and also basic amenities, basic conditions of living were horribly poor, and also there was so much oppression, and therefore there was some kind of rebellion, and to control and to curb that rebellion, Operation Searchlight was launched by Pakistan to curb this, to take control of this by one Mr. Tika Khan. And but India was not figuring in the war at that point in time. Look at this historical background. So there was the issue between West Pakistan and East Pakistan, and they were rebellion here, so they were trying to launch Operation Searchlight by Tika Khan to curb this thing. In between is the India, right? India is sandwiched between the West Pakistan geographically, territorially. And so, hostilities began when Pakistan Air Force, unprovoked, acting as the first aggressor, launched the attack on Indian 11 airfields. This was unprovoked, and this is what we mean by preemptive strikes on December 3rd, 1971. This was a serious problem. We cannot just tolerate this kind of aggression, act of aggression, which was unprovoked, preemptive, and also uncalled for, unwarranted, and posing a threat to our national security. So then the then Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi, said, this is nothing but this is an act of aggression and we must retaliate. And she declared what is called a declaration of war against India. This attack was nothing but a war against India, not just attack on the 11 airstrips. And therefore, it is nothing but we must fight back and we must wage a war. She declared war because this act of aggression on the airstrips constituted to that of aggression against Indian territory itself. So while the Indian force responded with initial retaliatory strike, so Honorable the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi called for a full-scale war because nothing short of full-scale invasion of Pakistan. Now this has kick-started or commenced the war between India and Pakistan. So as you can see, we were dragged into it. We were not a part of it. We were not first aggressor, and we may always maintain peace in the region. What led to the war? What are the triggering factors that led to the war? Well, the historical backdrop is when there is a tension between the Bengali majority of the East Pakistan and also which was not closer to Pakistan, but it was closer to India because next to our West Bengal, right? So the West Bengal and the East Bengal, as you know, when the partition has taken place, the East Bengal remained with Pakistan and they were having a control over that. Geographically, East Pakistan was closer to us than the Pakistan, as you can understand. And the then Bangladesh liberation was going on for months. See, there was a liberation war. They were not tolerating the oppression and also domination of Pakistan over the Bengali majority that is there in the East Pakistan. And there was a called Mukti Bahini guerrillas in East Pakistan. They were waging the war against the government. And they challenge the dominance of Pakistan, and also they wanted to break away from that, and they wanted nothing less than the freedom as a separate country. This is the background. Then India entered the war, or rather dragged into war, only when PF conducted air raids on that 11 airstrips on that fateful day. And that's how we were dragged into this war. The war spread out between the western and the eastern part. And as you know, all the three divisions were engaged. India, Army, Navy and Air Force. That was a full-scale war because it is an act of aggression against the India. If they had a problem to settle score with East Pakistan, they want to control the rebellion in East Pakistan. It was none of our business. It could have been construed as an internal matter. But when they started attacking us on our airfields, it is nothing but an act of aggression against the territoriality, integrity of India, and so it's a full-scale war declared by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So the other important thing that has happened is the war was waged for 13 days, and wow, that was a great moment for us because after 13 days, India emerged as victorious and defeated Pakistan and made 93,000 of the soldiers as prisoners of war. Now, that was a whopping victory to celebrate. And so, as a result, there was 93,000 Indian Pakistani troops, and there was a 13-day duration of the war. And so it makes the shortest war. Of course, recently Arab Israel, the Pakistan, Palestine and Arab, they had 11-day war. But ours was one of the shortest duration war. and it was fought under, finally they lost the battle, and a ceasefire came to an end, and a ceasefire was imposed, and by having an instrument of surrender agreement. What is the instrument of surrender? Pakistan totally kneeled down. They lost control, they lost the battle. Their 93,000 soldiers were taken as captives, as prisoners of war, and they had nothing to talk about their gain, any gain. They lost totally the area, territory, as much as the soldiers, and it has led to, therefore, they have signed a peace accession, an instrument called Instrument of Surrender. As you know, surrender itself means they are surrendering unconditionally. So Pakistan signed an instrument of surrender saying that, yes, we lost the battle. It is definitely a humiliating, crushing defeat, and we accept that, and we surrender totally. So that was a great victory for Indian Army. Indian Army signed by the then Lieutenant General J.S. Arora, and Pakistan Army Lieutenant General Niazi. Both have signed the instrument of surrender. So the war ended with a decisive victory, as you know, and then nothing more important. The outcome of the war was that East Pakistan became Bangladesh with Awami League leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the leader of the rebellion at that time, Sheikh Mujibur, who waged the war against the Pakistan. He was made the first president, and India, the East Pakistan became independent and was named as, because it was constituted majority of the Bengalis, it was called as Bangladesh, named as Bangladesh by their country people and by Mujibur Rahman. So the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman became its first president, and later he became second prime minister. So in the 72, Bangladesh was formed, which was initially East Bengal. So India played a very instrumental role, pivotal role in defending the rights of those oppressed populations in East Bengal, East Pakistan, and also they said that because it was an act of aggression in India, so India also fought the full-scale war, for which Pakistan could not win the war, and they totally had to surrender. And these conditions have led to separation of the East Pakistan from the West Pakistan, and they became territorially and also as a country independent and renamed as Bangladesh. The former East Pakistan now, then by 72, became Bangladesh. This is the historical aspect of the formation of Bangladesh. And this is the event that we commemorate with a lot of happy memories and with a pride that we won this. And it was a very humiliating defeat to the Pakistan, and half of the population almost suffered. You can understand in 72, Pakistan as a nation suffered a lot of economic and also many casualties, economic trauma and then economic damages, and the casualties of the civilians as much as the soldiers. And you can say about 93,000 is nothing but less than 1 lakh, but about 1 lakh. So, and therefore, it was a decisive victory for India, and we established the military governance as a major power in the region. And we proved our supremacy and dominance over Pakistan in this perpetual conflict between this scenario between India and Pak that has dragged, and China, Pakistan provoked us and dragged us into this, and therefore finally we taught them a lesson, and India became victorious and a dominant major global power in the region. In 1972, Shimla Agreement was signed. No, in order to restore peace again, and because 93,000 soldiers of Pakistanis were held as captives and prisoners of war. Therefore, Pakistan came out with a proposal, let there be an agreement, a peace treaty between India and Pakistan, and in exchange of the prisoners of the war of Pakistan, they will accept the domination, and also they will try to hold the bilateral talks, bilateral negotiation, and they will respect the peace in the region. The Pakistan government made very clear. So, in lieu of the return of the Pakistani, the government would recognize the independence of Bangladesh. This is the major turning point. So, not only that they have accepted that India is a a dominant power in the region. They also said that in exchange for our prisoners of war, you please return our prisoners of war, and we will recognize the independence of Bangladesh, and that not have any control and claim over Bangladesh as well East Pakistan. So that is, as you can see, the Shimla Agreement in 1972, July 2nd. This is a ceasefire agreement between the two, and we have the Shimla Agreement between the Bhutto and Srimati Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister, on July 2nd, 1972. So, what is the Shimla Agreement? Shimla Agreement is signed between the both of them, and what is the charter? The contents of the treaty was that we shall UN declaration resolution shall be the guiding force and governing rule for maintaining the peace in the region. So UN resolution of peace. Okay, UN shall govern the relation between the India and also Pakistan, and then any differences if they arise in the future after the 72 war, they said that there will be bilateral holding peace talks, come to the table, discussion, and thrash the differences through bilateral negotiation and talks, and not resorting to any act of aggression or violence. Then both countries shall represent respect. So while India respects Pakistan and as a country, Pakistan also should respect India as a country, and both should respect their territorial integrity. So what is the importance of this territorial integrity? This is where line of control has come into picture. After the 1971 war, line of control has come into picture. What is this? So according to this treaty, they will respect territorial integrity, and forces will be withdrawn from both the sides, because there was a confrontation, and also a confrontation posted between the two, and they were standing army in the region, and there was an escalation of tension till this Shimla Agreement was signed, and now the army will stand down and they will withdraw, go back to their original places, and they will respect that territorial integrity. And after withdrawing, the ceasefire line which has been signed till that fight where we won victoriously over Pakistan, that will be treated as line of control. Now that's how the line of control has come in the December 17, 1977, after the Bangladesh, and that shall be respected as in line of control. So what we call as today LOC, and that. So that is the importance of this. So overall, India has emerged victorious, and it also contributed to the liberation of the East Pakistan from the clutches of the West Pakistan. As you can see, there were so many violations. Even today in the Pak-occupied Kashmir, there are many allegations, there are many instances, and the human rights activists are raising a voice against the oppression of the human rights in POK. So likewise, it was doing that in the East Pakistan, and so you know the story now, and that it has come out as a separate country, and India played a crucial role under the leadership of the then Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi.